Wars is part of the Rippin Podcast Network. Today on Cardboard Wars, we explore the timeless significance of Jackie Robinson's iconic 1948 Leaf baseball card. Hosts Ben Rippin, M46 Rippin, and Kevin Rips jump into Leaf's groundbreaking entry into the trading card arena and Robinson's monumental impact on baseball and civil rights. Discover how this collectible and the player transcend their humble origins to become a symbol of courage and defiance. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Cardboard Wars.
It's 1948. This week, we're in Chicago, Illinois. The Leaf Candy Company, born from a merger of Sweet Dreams and a company called Wartime Grit, decides to dip into something bolder than bubblegum. Colorized baseball cards tucked into packs for kids hungry for their heroes. At the heart of it all, one of the most famous cards of all time, card number 79, Jackie Robinson. A piece of cardboard that didn't just capture a rookie's swing, but immortalized this barrier-breaking legend.
Leaf wasn't chasing trends, they were setting them. Their 1948 set became the first full-color post-war baseball released, packed with 98 cards that turned pocket change into post-war nostalgia.
And as one collector whispered later, years later actually, Leaf cards weren't just collectibles. They were a ticket to the game and to history unfolding.
Gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars, a podcast about sports cards, the world's most famous athletes, and the manufacturers of the cards themselves. I go by Ben Rippin online. You can find me on Instagram. I'm joined by my two partners, Jake and Kevin. You can find them here.
You can find me on Instagram, M46 Rippin.
And you can find me on Instagram at Kevin Rips.
This story starts in the 1940s when Saul, Leaf, and a crew of Chicago candy makers, confectioners, including the Overland Candy Company behind one of my favorites, Whoppers Malted Milk Balls, say that fast, merged into Leaf Brands. Amid the tail end of the Great Depression and World War II rationing, they peddled penny sweets to a nation just craving a little bit of an escape through the candy.
Yeah, Ben, I don't know what tops Whoppers. Those were fantastic. And really by 1947, Leaf was experimenting beyond gum. They eyed the trading card boom, sparked by pre-war sets from Goody and Playball. But Leaf wanted vibrancy, color in a black and white world. Their first baseball venture, Ben, a gamble on post-war optimism.
Kevin, I know what you're like dying in your heart right now to say to M46, to Jake right now. Are you going to say it?
Gowdy.
Goody? Gowdy?
Gowdy.
All right. Like a cow with a G with a hard D. Gowdy. Here's the deal. Kids in Chicago tenements traded Whopper wrappers like currency, dreaming of ball fields. Leaf noticed that. They saw the spark. Let's pair candy with heroes. And you've got more than a treat. You actually have a hobby.
1949 or 1948, I don't remember. Cards, either way, they bear the 1948 copyright. But court docs later revealed the first shipment hit Boston March 14th, 1949. Leaf produced 98 cards sized 2 by 3/8 inches by 2 inches and 7/8, something like that, numbered to 168, but kept skipping dozens to build suspense. Half were short printed, making completing a collector's quest rather challenging.
Man, those guys are sneaky. I mean, innovations abounded, hand-colored portraits from black and white photos, vivid, solid backgrounds in red, blue, yellow, and green. Backs featured bios and 1948 stats, plus ads for all-star baseball gum. Rookies like Stan Musial, Warren Spahn, and the crown jewel, Jackie Robinson, number 79, made it a Hall of Fame starter pack.
Robinson's card, the Jackie, as I call it, a close-up portrait against a sunny yellow backdrop. His Dodger cap, which you know I love, tilted just so. It's flawless, but it's also prone to off-centering. There's print effects, dull hues. It mirrors man, imperfect and unbreakable, yet amazing at the same time. And as Branch Rickey, the famous Dodgers GM who signed him, said in 1945, "I'm looking for a ball player with guts enough not to fight back." Leaf captured that grit on cardboard. Here's the deal, he said. He'll have to turn the other cheek, but he'll do it with style.
Leaf front-loaded the set with stars like Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, a kind of a pointed tribute printed months before his 1948 death. The number 8 card, which is Ted Williams. But the real intrigue, Skip numbering tricked kids into hunting for phantoms, while short prints like Satchel Paige, number 8, misnumbered in old catalogs, vanished like smoke.
Production quirks defined it. 49 commons flooded packs, but the other 49, they were elusive. No full runs survived intact. In fact, by 1950, Leaf pivoted to other candies, but their cards lingered in attics, fueling the underground trade economy.
Imagine it's 1949, you're in a schoolyard. You see a kid flip a Babe Ruth for 3 Jackie Robinsons, just dreaming of Ebbets Field. Leaf cards weren't just traded, they were magic. One vet recalled that yellow background on Jackie glowed like the hope after the war.
Leaf's card heyday was unfortunately short. Post-1949, they focused more on sweets as competitors like Bowman and Topps kind of muscled their way in. By the 1950s, mergers swallowed Leaf into bigger candy empires, but the brand name endured.
A 1983 buyout by Finland's Huhtamaki folded Leaf with Donruss, sparking a trading card revival. Yet the 1948 set scarcity grew. Poor printing met few high grades. Today, PSA Robinsons numbered just 8, with total auction sales whopping 11.6 million across 639 lots.
But Challenges built legend. Robinson's card, once just a penny pack pull, now easily fetches 6 figures. PSA 8 hits off the beast in 24 for a couple $100,000. It's not just the value, it's the vindication for the dignity that Jackie carried through those early years, through the slurs and all the racial stuff that he had to deal with.
The 1990s junk wax glut nearly buried vintage Leaf, but the brand rebooted. In 1990, Leaf launched a high-end baseball set, glossy limited, shaping the premium market amid overproduction chaos. And I remember when that set came out, Kevin, very much. It was a very unique, different looking card.
It's so good. In fact, Ben, I'm going to insert a personal story. I just sent off one of my favorite cards from that set to PSA to get graded.
Who was
Frank
that?
Thomas, Mr.
Frank
Thomas.
Thomas. Legendary.
That's such a good card. Hutamaki's Donruss merger burst stars like 1991 Leaf, but roots trace back to 48. By the decade's end, Hershey snapped up Leaf's candy operations in 96, but the card legacy simmered, waiting for rebirth.
Yeah, collectors in the 90s, they chased those 48 ghosts, trading stories over flea market hauls. As one said, Leaf taught us that rarity isn't printed, it's remembered. The sets had flaws for sure, but their features, those echoes of hand-tinted dreams, like it just keeps building a mystique.
Leafs card division, albeit fragmented, had another little revival in 2010. A gentleman named Brian Gray revived it under Leaf Trading Cards, now cranking multi-sport hits from his place in Dallas. From Power Slap to a Bronx legacy, they honor the past with autographs and one-on-ones until eventually Big Bry, as he's known online, Big Bry the Deal Guy, a pretty massive collector of some of the best cards out there, and you'll see him at a lot of shows or listen to him on his podcast, actually ended up selling it to a group called the Orange Mountain Capital, which acquired Leaf for a purported, 9-figure amount of money in the 100+ million range is what I've heard, but I'm not going to confirm that as of today. Pretty cool story for the hobby.
Yeah. And, going back to that 48 set, I mean, it's really untouchable. A PSA 6 Robinson holds at 36,000. Finest known as SGC 9's Whisper 7 figures. And the total hobby value is literally priceless. Leaf's first color splash birthed $1 billion chase.
And Jackie Robinson's impact just transcends. Rookie of the Year in 47, MVP in 49, 6 pennants, 55 World Series win. His Leaf card stands as Americana, barrier breaking on that bold yellow. But Jackie was known to say this: a life is not important except for the impact it has on other lives.
That's so good. From Chicago candy counters to auction blocks, companies selling for 9 figures. They have a unique story, and they've made an impact on the hobby. And still today, you can pick up some of the coolest autographs from Leaf trading cards, including my personal favorite, my Chuck Norris signed card that I picked up at Nationals not too long ago. But I think what's most important is we spend some time actually talking about the man who actually broke these barriers, and that's Jackie Robinson.
This is truly an historic day here in Jersey City. A 27-year-old Negro named Jackie Robinson is playing his first game for the Montreal Royals, the Dodger Farm Club. Robinson steps to the plate. Here's the pitch. Swing a long drive into deep left field. It might be home run, Jackie Robinson.
January 31st, 1919, in Cairo, Georgia, a sharecropper's son, Jack Roosevelt Robinson, is born into a world of kind of Jim Crow type segregation. His mother raises him with fierce pride, teaching him to stand tall. By 1947, he's not just a ball player, he's revolutionary. He's stepping on to Ebbets Field as the first black player in modern Major League history. And in 1948, the Leaf Candy Company, as we discussed, immortalized him in that famous card, number 79, with that vivid yellow background, which I currently own a PSA 1 of, lowest grade, but one of my most treasured cards.
Yeah, he broke barriers, Ben, and just had so much to do with history. But the cool thing about it, I mean, is the way he did it. He had a .311 career batting average, 197 stolen bases, 1,518 hits, and he was a 1949 MVP. But the numbers that don't capture the weight he carried, because he was breaking baseball's color barrier at the young age of 28.
And to go back to it, that 1948 Leaf card, it's more than a card. It's a symbol of courage. It's a piece of history that kids held in their hand. Collectors today will call it priceless. It's a snapshot of defiance and dignity. I remember the first time I saw that card in person, being a lifelong Dodger fan and reading about Jackie as a kid and all that he went through. And I remember the first time I saw that card and in real life, and not just a picture. it is a piece of history.
It's still one of those cards when you're looking down at a case, it'll stop you. You can pull it out of the crowd like a Where's Waldo kind of experience. It just stands out with such bright color and unique design. Well, Jackie ends up growing up in Pasadena, California, after his family gets out of Georgia because of the oppression that he had to encounter. He's a 4-sport star at UCLA: football, basketball, track, and baseball. In 1940, he leads the Bruins in rushing and steals by stealing 25 bases in baseball. But in 1942, the Army drafts him. He's court-martialed for refusing to sit at the back of a military bus and acquitted, kind of a sign of the fire that he had inside him.
Yeah, such a stud. I mean, 4 sports, that just makes me want, thinking about it, makes me want oxygen. But, pre-MLB, Jackie plays in the Negro Leagues for the Kansas City Monarchs in 45. He had a crazy average of 387, hit 5 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and that's only in 47 games. He was a star, but the new Negro Leagues were a shadow circuit. Branch Rickey, Dodgers GM, saw more, a man who could break barriers.
And I said, I don't know about any petition, but they tell me you got one up. And I don't know about any petition, but I'll tell you what you can do with it, because Robinson's going to play on this ball club. Because I don't look at the color. I don't care whether he's green, black, yellow, white. He has talent, and he will put money in your pocket and my pocket. This is some kind of player, and he's going to be here. And I'm warning you now that he's only the first of many to follow.
That's right. Kids in 48, when they got that card finally, that Leaf number 79 card, I think a lot like us, they didn't just see a player. They saw a trailblazer. And that card with that, again, we keep saying it because it stands out so much, that yellow background and Jackie's steady gaze. It was quiet rebellion, which is who Jackie was.
Growing up in the West, like you don't see as much kind of racism and that sort of stuff show up. And it's surprising to me that it was only 75 years ago they had Negro only leagues, and some of the most talented athletes in the world were not even playing on the biggest stages. And it's pretty impressive that Jackie was able to blaze these trails and make it possible for so many of the athletes that we admire today. In fact, April 15th, 1947, Jackie debuts for the Brooklyn Dodgers against the Boston Braves. He goes 0 for 3, but scores the winning run. The abuse is immediate: racial slurs, death threats, spiked slides, yet he turns the other cheek, as Ricky asked, and answers with his bat.
Jackie Robinson steps in against Ford. Deep into left center, Irv Noren races after Robinson's blast. Jackie really teed off on Ford. Here comes the relay. Jackie slides, he's safe.
Yeah, his rookie season, 297 average, 12 homers, 29 stolen bases, leading the league. He's named Rookie of the Year by 48 when Leaf prints his number 79 card. He's hitting 296, 12 homers, and 85 RBIs, cementing his place as a Major League Baseball star.
I think, as this podcast is all about cards and the companies that make them, I think it's, what you guys just both talked about. It's why holding that card feels like you're not just holding a piece of history, you're actually holding a piece of the fight that he went through.
Yeah, well said. 1949 is Jackie's pinnacle. He wins the National League MVP with a .342 batting average, 37 stolen bases, 124 RBIs, 122 runs scored. He's not just surviving, he's actually dominating. From 1947 to 1956, he leads the Dodgers to 6 World Series, winning one in 1955 against the Yankees.
The count is 1-1. Gilliam, hands on hips, leads off second base. A little further now. Turley looks back. Robinson waits. Here comes the pitch. And there goes a line drive to left field. Squatters after it. He leaps it over his head against the wall. Here comes Gilliam scoring. Oakland wins. Jackie Robinson is being pummeled by his teammates, congratulated. As he lined one out to left field, Squatter leaped for the ball. It was over his outstretched glove, out up against that left field wall. Gilliam scored from second base. And the Brooklyn Dodgers win here in this home tent with a tremendous demonstration here as Jackie Robinson rose to the challenge. So that's the story. It's a thrilling climax here in an extra inning game.
And the crazy thing about it is, while facing all this opposition, his career stats are insane. And especially for a second baseman, he hit .311 average, 137 homers, 197 stolen bases, and the .883 OPS. In his speed, he stole home 19 times. That record that only puts him behind Ty Cobb. No one played with more grit than Jackie.
Jackie Robinson, runner at third base, takes his lead. And Robinson's going to try to steal home. He is safe at home plate. Yogi Berra's going crazy. Berra thought he had him, but Jackie Robinson has stolen home.
Grit is the only word to describe it. I think about the stuff that he went through on the field, the stuff that led to so much of the stuff off the field. For Jackie to stick with the game and continue to, and not only to play it, like to break the barrier, but then to perform at the level that he did, like it's no wonder like people think of Jackie as like he literally changed the game in so many ways.
There's a reason why if you saw Kevin Rips or Ben Rippin at Nationals, we had a special pair of shoes on. What were those shoes, Kevin?
That's right. Those were Nike Dunk Low, Jackie Robinson. In fact, I've had my pair sitting in my closet for, I don't know, since whenever they came out. I was lucky enough to get a pair. And I was like, I don't know when I'm ever going to wear these. So one pair of shoes I had that sat in my closet for a long time. And I was like, yeah, the Nationals is the time. Ben peer pressured me a little bit, but I did it.
I did. What makes these shoes so unique is they're covered with quotes, either from or about Jackie Robinson. Jackie wasn't silent. With Ricky's blessing, he spoke out against racism. He testified before Congress in 1949 against Paul Robeson's comments on segregation. He called out umpires, opponents, and even teammates who disrespected him. His fire actually helped to shape the civil rights movement.
Yeah, Ben, and on the field, he didn't slow down either. I mean, at 51, he hit .338, 19 homers, and 88 RBIs. In 56, his final season, at age 37, he still hit .275, 10 homers, and finally, his injuries and age caught up, but his impact never, ever faded.
It never did. And I think that's why we look so fondly upon his career. The guy, I know I'm not going to get political at all, but there's a tagline in the last 15, 20 years called The Hope. And actually, I think Jackie is really the originator of that. He gave people hope. And that card, I think, signifies that.
Yeah. Jackie kind of carried burdens far beyond the field. The stress of racism, constant travel, injuries, and as he got older, diabetes would also plague him, and it all took a toll. He retired after 1956, kind of refusing a trade to the Giants, which, I mean, who blames him? Off the field, he fought for equality, working with the NAACP, and even advising another legend, Dr. Martin Luther King.
As it kind of went through the history, I mean, he finished his final years in baseball, had incredible stats, and the wear became visible. In 1972, diabetes really weakened him, and he was nearly blind.
Let's talk about the card. The card's important. In PSA, there's a total of 1,569 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson card number 79s graded. There was 65 that are auth only. 238 got a 1. No 1.5s, unlike my Michael Jordan sticker that I submitted this week. 269 2s, 357 PSA 3s, 247 4s, 230 5s, 138 6s, 78 7s, 48s, 7 9s, and gentlemen, 0 10s. That's kind of par for the course when you get back to these older cards that are so valuable. In February of 2022, a PSA 8 sold for $468,000. In 2021, one sold for $444,000. A 7 sold for $392,000. Another 8 in 2020 sold for $391,000. Like, Jackie Robinson cards are up there in value. Insane. Just to get your hands on a authentic one, it's still going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Phenomenal person. Let's wrap up with, you guys got any quotes about or from Mr. Jackie Robinson?
I think, I'm going to do this also as a tip of the cap to our buddy Jake here. And no one's perfect. And, Jake is a Giants fan. And so I'm going to go with a Willie Mays quote. Willie said, every time I look at my uniform, I think of Jackie. Without Jackie, there's no Willie Mays.
I liked it when they talked about, and they said the most luxurious possession, the richest man's treasure anybody has is the person's dignity, their personal dignity. I really like that quote.
Life is not a spectator sport. If you're going to spend your whole life in the grandstands just watching what goes on, in my opinion, you're wasting your life.
That's solid. Muhammad Ali said Jackie Robinson was a legend and a hero, and he paved the way for me. I actually, as I was researching quotes that others said about Jackie, so many people just absolutely said something similar. Without Jackie, we're not here. I mean, even the president, I referenced him earlier, President Obama said the same thing. Like, there's a direct line from Jackie Robinson to me standing here as president.
He also said, too, there's not an American in this country free until every one of us frees. And that just kind of shows his fight for everything and such how much of an impact he had.
John Lewis said that he gave the Black community a sense of hope and a sense of pride. Nothing kind of makes me prouder than seeing little boys and girls of all colors and all races and all nationalities wearing number 42 on their jersey or on their shirt or written in pen on their hands. He did so much for so many communities and so much for the world. It's an honor on the Cardboard Wars podcast to talk about people that are not just great on the field, but just great for the world in general. Jake, any final thoughts?
Just a legend. I mean, just in what I respect a lot about him is he came in to the league. His manager said, hey, just turn the other cheek, right? And he did so to establish himself, but then he fought for what he believed in. So after that, and love seeing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars. Thank you for listening to another episode. Do us a favor, share this out, take a screenshot, put it on social media, tag M46 Rippin, Kevin Rips, or Ben Rippin, please. Means the world to us. If you get the time and you made it this far, please give us a review wherever you're listening, Apple, YouTube. Give us some comments. It means the world to us. It keeps us motivated to keep doing this and creating great content for the hobby. And the next time you're at a card show, reach out. We might be there. It'd be great to meet up and shake your hand.
Thanks for listening to Cardboard Wars on the Rippin Podcast Network. Don't forget to leave a rating and review and check out rippin.com to get connected to what we have coming up. Find us on Instagram and let us know what you would like to hear about on a future episode of Cardboard Wars. Until next time, keep rippin'.